And welcome to this week's edition of Coach's Corner. I'm Craig Cannon, filling in for Therese Marzalak this week. We're going to dive right into it. Pack play has gotten underway with games against St. Vincent and Grove City. We're going to start with the women's side, and I'm sitting here with assistant coach Katie Miller. Coach, welcome to the show. Thanks for filling in for Coach Scott this week.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Big win against Grove City last night. Were you expecting this out of Grove City? They were only 2-3. You know you're going to go in there and get a battle, but were you expecting to have to come back from a first-half deficit?
We never expect that. We don't want to expect that. But Coach Scott was actually stressing about the game all week. We knew Grove City was much improved from last year, and so we were expecting a tight game. We were not expecting to go into halftime scoring 17 points by any means.
Well, scoring to 17 points, obviously your defense had to step up. Explain the last play. Emily got a big steal. They were down 2, Grove City had the ball down 2. Emily gets a steal and an and 1 to put you up 4, basically sealing the game. Explain what happened on that last play. Did you call something? Did you see something that was, or did Emily just go through basic instinct on that one?
Emily went through basic instinct. Gina actually tipped the ball. She was playing a tough defense on the ball, and she's Emily Ackerman and made a great play, and especially the end one. She was just aggressive, went to the basket, and got the foul.
Now, Emily scored her 1,000th point last night. She's a senior captain along with Therese and then junior Gina Brunetti. Explain her impact on this team. You lost 4 seniors last year that were an integral part of your team. Explain how Emily, Therese, Gina, all the upperclassmen have helped this team come together, and you've been able to win successfully this early.
It's tough losing that many seniors, and Gina really had to step it up and lead us, and it's not a role that they were used to last year. We had a lot of senior leadership with Rachel Eaton and Tally and Des and Fee, and they stepped it up every game, and I think it was a role that Emily was absolutely ready for, and she's such a hard worker, and she's absolutely the person that makes us go.
Speaking of Emily Still, she has come, her freshman year, as far as I can remember, she was mainly a shooter. Now she's turned into an inside and an outside player. Her work ethic, along with you coaches, has really come together and proven that hard work can get you a long way. Explain how hard she has worked for you guys so that people can understand how hard she really has worked.
She's the kid who, in practice, will take a charge. She's screaming and yelling, and she plays just as hard every single day in practice that she does on game day. And that's something that, as a coach, you absolutely appreciate. And she's a kid who, in the off season, she hit the weight room in the summer, preseason, postseason, and you can absolutely tell. People bounce off her. She throws people around, and it's something, we're glad she's on our team and not, playing against her.
Now, along with that, Emily Ackerman, our guest today is Caitlin McCarthy, a freshman point guard coming into a team that won 22 games last year and went to the NCAA tournament. When you recruited Caitlin, did you know she'd step in right away, or did you think she would be somebody that would be more of a project and maybe in a couple years?
We actually hoped that she would step in right away, and she's actually filled those shoes well. She's the type of kid who will come in and play hard no matter what, and it's tough as a freshman point guard. You're thrown into the mix, and the college game is a lot different than high school, and so she's adjusted well. Absolutely. Has
she progressed like you thought, or is she kind of keeping the pace that you thought she would the whole way?
She's actually progressed a lot quicker than we thought she would, but we needed her to, and she stepped up, and she's been playing a lot of minutes, which we're thankful that she's been able to play. She's in great shape, and she absolutely plays hard, both sides of the floor.
What made you go with Caitlin right away over Gina? Not really over Gina, because Gina's still in the starting lineup, but she ran the point guard for you guys last year and had a pretty successful run at that. What made you decide to move Gina to the shooting guard and put Caitlin into point guard right away? Was there something you saw as far as team chemistry, or was it just something you thought could benefit Gina and Caitlin both?
I think it would benefit them both, absolutely. Gina was forced kind of to play the point guard spot last year, and she exerted so much energy bringing the ball down that she didn't have sometimes the legs to shoot the ball. And so we wanted Gina, to free up some of that energy to get some open looks. And Caitlin's a true point guard. She's a natural. She wants the ball in her hands, to break the press, and that's something that we haven't had here in a couple of years.
Now, you lost all-time leading scorer on the women's side, Desiree Sterling. You got a freshman point guard. You're bringing people off the bench that didn't play much this year. And still, you're undefeated, you're 1-0 in the pack, and you're heading into Thomas More. Did you expect to win this early, or has this hit you by surprise?
We always hopefully expect to win early. Our goal was to get better every day, and we knew we'd have a lot of people coming off the bench who maybe didn't get the playing time last year that that they were used to, and it was a new role for them. So we really, our goal was to focus on pushing forward and getting better every day, and the team chemistry would just continue to improve. So we're thankful for that, but we're definitely looking forward to Thomas More on Saturday.
Now let's hit on Thomas More a little bit. They're ranked number 11 in the country. You're going into a team that knocked you out of the PAC tournament last year. You played 3 tight games against them. What's your mindset right now heading into Thomas More? I'm sure you and Coach Scott and all the players have to be excited for this game.
Oh, absolutely. Thomas More is a tough place to play. It's a long trip, obviously, it's never a happy place, but there's some bad blood there, and I think our players really want some redemption after the championship game, and I think we match up better with Thomas More this year than we did last year. They had 2 really strong post players last year that are both gone, and I think it's going to be a good matchup.
Now, have you been looking, is the Thomas More game you circled early in the year that you said to yourself, this is the first game we really have to get? Or is it just another game along the PAC path that you have to take?
It's just another game along the road. I mean, we're only 6 games in, and it's a long season, and we can't really put everything into this one game. We'll take one game at a time, and there's a lot of good teams in the PAC, and W&J is having a great year so far, and we're just going one game at a time.
What were your goals coming into this season as far as a team? Do you and Coach Scott set a win total, or do you just want to, like you said, improve every day? Or is there something else that we might not know that goes on behind the scenes as far as a goal?
We set a lot of goals in terms of team goals this year, absolutely. And one of the big ones was winning 20 games, and we really want to focus on that. We've had up and down years. It seems like we'd win 20, and then we had a tough season, and we just want to focus on winning 20 games year in and year out. And we think we have the team that can do it again.
Now, I heard when you played at the Washington and Jefferson tournament, there was a little bit of trash talk on the W&J side. I'm not sure, you played them January 5th at our place. Are you really, now I understand as a player, I'd be really looking forward to that game. Are you looking forward to playing Washington and Jefferson because the way they were talking about you?
We always look forward to playing W&J, and last year the way the season ended up with the coin flip between W&J and us and Thomas More, it's always one of those games where both teams are really ready to get after it.
Well, thank you, and good luck this weekend. When we get back, we'll be here with Caitlin McCarthy, starting point guard for the women's basketball team.
What would it mean to you to have the most updated hair wardrobe using Paul Mitchell? Needing a change or just want to update your style? Then call the Right Place Hair Salon. Their staff has the newest techniques and color formulas for the latest hair collections. The Right Place is a Paul Mitchell focus salon that not only creates new hair and confidence for you, but also offers tanning and waxing services. So if you want it done right, call the Right Place Salon, 724-946-9299, or check us out on the web at therightplacesalon.com.
I'm starving. I love being hungry because when the mom in my family's on the go all day and comes home to our hungry family, I know she's going to serve up Augustine's Italian frozen pizza. The smell of roasted garlic, fresh mozzarella, and zesty marinara lingers throughout the house as if we lived in our own Italian village. And the best part is Augustine's frozen pizza is made right here in Newcastle and can be found in our local grocery store. 6 varieties of Augustine's ready-to-bake pizzas. Love being hungry. Love Augustine's frozen pizzas.
And welcome back. We're sitting here with somebody that a lot of fans might not know, but you should get to know her because she's going to be around for a good 4 years here at Westminster. She's point guard Caitlin McCarthy. And Caitlin, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start out. You got your first PAC win under your belt last night at Grove City. Come from behind win. How does it feel getting your first win in the PAC?
Well, the team likes to put a lot of emphasis on the PAC games. Like, that's what we play for and everything. So I was glad that we can come out with a win because that's important for us.
Now, as a freshman coming in, did you expect to play as early as you did, or were you looking just to come off the bench and trying to contribute to a team that went 22-7 last year, went to the NCAA tournament and the PAC championship?
I really didn't know what to expect because last year in high school I tore my ACL my senior year, so I was out for half the season, and I really just wanted to play again. Like, that was the main thing. I just love basketball and I love playing, and I just wanted to come here and give the team all that I had, whether that would be coming off the bench or starting.
Is your knee holding up well this year, or do you still feel the pain of the torn ACL? Because I know that can be a tough injury to come back from.
No, it's actually been a lot better. Like, I have to wear a brace now for it and everything, but it really hasn't given me any problems. So.
How has the senior leadership really helped you come along as a player? I know you're playing with Emily and Therese and then Junior Gina Brunetti, and a lot of players that were there last year experienced the run. How has that helped you come along as such a young player? Because essentially you're the quarterback of this team. How did they help you come in?
Well, coming in as a freshman, you don't know what to expect. You don't know if the seniors are going to be like intimidating or what, but our seniors and Gina, they're great, like all the upperclassmen. They're very supportive. They're like, if you make a mistake, they're the first ones that'll come out and be like, shake it off, you know? And that really helps and makes you feel comfortable coming in as a freshman because you don't want to feel like not supported or anything.
Coming in from high school, I'm sure you had a couple schools recruiting you, probably more than a couple. What made you choose Westminster? What was the one thing that stood out? Was it the success of the recent team? Was it the academics? What made you pick Westminster?
Honestly, it was like a mixture of everything because I came up here to visit and it's so close to where I live and it's just comfortable. Like I knew like the campus was great, academics, the past seasons, they've been awesome. So I really wanted to just be a part of the team.
Now you're looking forward to Thomas More. What have you studied anything on Thomas More? Is there anything you guys have done yet, or was it just mainly Grove City for the week?
Well, we've been focusing a lot on Grove City because we like to take it one game at a time. But I'm sure today we'll be learning a lot more about how Thomas More is and how they play. And I know from last year they were like the big rivals on the team from what everyone has said. So I'm just excited to go down there and play.
Now, has the excitement, has the adrenaline started to wear off as far as a freshman? Or are you still feeling those freshman jitters you get before a game because it still is a bigger stage than high school? Or have you calmed down? Have you been able just to go into your games, not have to worry about being nervous, not have to worry about being a freshman because you do have seniors behind you?
Yeah, it takes time to adjust to college because it's so different from high school, but it's starting to feel more comfortable. Like every game is just more and more relaxed and everyone knows how we play now and we're just coming together as a team very well.
What were your goals coming into the season? Every player set some kind of goals, maybe statistically or just mentally or personally. What were your goals coming into the season? Was there anything specific that you really wanted to hit on?
Nothing too specific because like I said before, I really didn't know what to expect. As a point guard, though, the main thing is to keep control of the ball, keep the turnovers down. I just want to be able to handle it, get the ball to the players that score, and that's basically my goal.
Your team seems to be a very close-knit team, and I know in my 4 years here I've seen how close the women's basketball team is. How has that helped you as well as far as, you know, coming in, you know the team's very close, you guys are always together, doing things together, you're very excited to be around each other in practice and games. Is that something that you really looked forward to when you were coming to Westminster?
Yeah, I just love being a part of a team. And at first, it's always going to be awkward, like, because you don't know everyone. But like I said, the girls are so great. They're so comforting. They just, like, they bring the freshmen in like they've been playing with them forever. And that really helps because it makes us feel more comfortable, and it's just great to be a part of the team.
Now, is there any one game that you're really, other than Thomas More obviously coming up to this week, any game you're looking forward to in the schedule that you can say, I really want to win this game? Is there any friends from high school you're going to be playing against, or are you just looking at every game one by one?
I think I'm just taking it one game at a time. Like, because I'm not used to all the teams so far. I'm still getting adjusted to the different teams in the pack. So we're just taking it one game at a time and just playing our hearts out for every game.
Now, are you really looking forward to Thomas More? Because I know as far as myself as a player, them being number 11 in the country and the defending PAC champions, what's your mindset right now on the Thursday before you head into Thomas More?
Well, today we're going to go over a lot of things that they do and get used to how they play, and we just have to focus on what we do. And I think if we do that, we'll be able to beat them.
Well, thank you for being here today. When we get back, we're going to be back with the men's basketball coach. Another tough loss for the Westminster men's team in overtime. They had another loss at Allegheny this week, too. Lost by 2. We'll be back with men's basketball coach Larry Ondeko.
Ice skating, what a great form of exercise and fun. And there's no better place than Hess Ice Rink in Newcastle. Interested in figure skating or hockey? Come in and be part of our Learn to Skate program, open to all ages and skill levels. Hess Ice Rink, the home of the Hess Hockey Association and the area's largest competitive figure skating team, open every day. Hess Ice Rink welcomes all ages to come and enjoy the excitement and sport of ice skating. Let Hess plan your next birthday party or occasion. Hess Ice Rink on Mitchell Road in Newcastle.
All of
behind-the-scenes positions for today's TV broadcast from camera to director are held by Westminster College broadcast communications majors. Broadcast instruction from professionals in the field, plus extensive hands-on experience in both radio and television, can be found close to home. Be part of the action in the future. Learn more about broadcasting at Westminster College. For more information, contact the Westminster College admissions office.
And welcome back to Coach's Corner. We're going to switch over to the men's side now, and I'm here with head coach Larry Ondeko. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Well, thanks for having me, Craig.
Let's talk about this long week you had. You had a game Saturday, Monday, and Wednesday. Saturday being the St. Vincent game, and then 2 tough losses against Allegheny at the buzzer by 2, and then against Grove City last night. But you got your first win of the season, and even with those 2 tough losses, what's the mindset of our team right now?
Oh, I'd like to think it's pretty good after last night. I see a lot of kids when we lose upset, which is good. Like I said, I'm kind of out of hang in there speeches, and there's only so much you can say. But I think the big thing is, as I try and point out to the guys, is we are improving. We're getting better. David Richards is playing a lot better. You're playing a lot better. Ryan Murray, again, still, he hasn't played basketball much in the past year. He's getting better. So we're getting better as a team, and it's unfortunate that it's not paid off in a few wins. And, I mean, when you just look at the fact that we've had 5, basically buzzer beaters and lost all 5, and Grove City's had 3 buzzer beaters and won all 3. I mean, the chances of that happening are almost none. Usually you go 2-3, 3-2. Grove City go 2-1 or 1-2, but to lose them all or win them all is really kind of hard to believe. And give them credit. They've won them all, and we just haven't found a way to win those close ones. But, again, as I just keep telling our guys, if we keep putting ourselves in those situations, I just find it hard to believe that we're not going to start winning some.
Now, you mentioned about how it's the 5th loss at the buzzer. You have lost 5 games, essentially by 4 points or less. Last night's overtime loss capped the 5th one off. How is this happening? Why is it that we're not able to win these games and other teams seem to be able to pull these out? Is there something that there's a focus on, or it just happens and maybe the ball isn't bouncing our way?
Well, one of the things is, it's not like we've had the lead and we're letting it slip away. The first 3 games were kind of just good battles that could have gone either way. But, the Allegheny game and the Grove City game, we were down, 8 or 9 yesterday with 25 seconds left. Mm-hmm. So, if we miss 1-3 and have a couple fouls, we probably lose the game in regulation by 12. So, there's not a set pattern as to what's happening. And, again, if there was, it'd be a lot easier on the coaches. We could figure out what we're doing. But, again, I think it's just we're a good enough team. We're playing you're going to play close games. And like I said, boy, the chances of it happening where you're going to lose all 5 or win all 5 or be on the perfect side like Grove City is pretty slim. And, we just got to figure out how to get some wins.
We played very hard last night, but are you at all worried about starting 0-1, losing to your rival at Grove City, a team that we beat in their place last year? Are you worried headed into Thomas More? Is your mindset better now than it was against Allegheny? Yeah,
it's certainly better now. I thought, I've always told you guys, I think the big thing you have to look at is what does it take to beat you? If that Allegheny game is what it takes to beat you, then you're not very good. But, we went to Grove City and they had to play as absolutely well as they could have. They had to make 14 of 22 threes. They had to bank in threes. They had to get a few breaks here and there. And that's what it took to beat us on their own court in overtime. And, if that's what it takes to beat you, I think you're a pretty good team. And, so I think right now we're playing pretty good basketball.
Is the team mindset good after a tough loss like Grove City? Do you think they're going to be focused for Thomas More, or do you think it's something that we'll dwell on, losing 2 tough games like this during the week?
Well, you're the host, but I could throw that question back to you. You're in the locker room more than I am. But, again, I think it's okay. Like I said, you can ask David here, but, again, I saw a lot of people, upset. I don't see, I don't see us quitting. I think we've got a good group of guys who's worked real hard and they stay together. It seems to me you guys get along well. And as much as you argue on the bench timeouts, which I kind of like to an extent, it shows you care. It shows you got a passion for the game and you want to win. So, maybe I was a little concerned that it could go the wrong way. But I think for 19 and 20-year-old kids, you guys have handled it pretty well.
Thomas More got their second win in the pack last night. A team that hasn't been, since they come into the conference, hasn't really been a great team. But they're starting 2-0. It's essentially a different team than they've had in the past 2 years under second-year head coach John Ellenwood. Explain their team dynamic and what they have coming back this year and how they match up against us on Saturday.
Well, they've got a few new players, and Coach Ellenwood, having played at Worcester, honestly, if you watch the game tape of them, they look like Worcester in blue uniforms. They're running a lot of the same stuff. They're playing the same sort of defense, and he'll eventually get the kids in there that he wants. They're just, last year they weren't bad. And they've got a good area to draw from. And it's going to be a tough game down there. We've gone down there and played well. We've actually played well on the road. I'd really say for all 4 years I've been here, we've been a good road team, and we won at every road place last year except for W&J. And again, it took a kind of a prayer to beat us down there. And so I expect we'll go down and play very well down at Thomas More, and hopefully we can get our second win.
What will we do differently against Thomas More compared to what we did against Grove City?
Well, hopefully not a whole lot. I mean, I just want to play hard. I want to get on the offensive glass. They play a lot like Grove City. They're not going to get out and deny us a lot. They're going to play physical and make sure they're in good rebounding position so that when we shoot, they can get the defensive rebound. We're going to have to battle to get to the offensive glass and keep them off the offensive glass, because they're probably more along the lines of Allegheny in terms of being a little bigger than us than Grove City was. So it's going to be a lot of the same stuff that we need to deal with. But I'll tell you, if our freshmen can keep coming and we can keep improving, we're going to be right there. There's no doubt in my mind.
After Christmas, you guys are heading to Arizona, but you're going to play a nationally ranked team in Lewis and Clark. Is that something you knew going in, that Lewis and Clark was going to be very good, or was that just so happened that you found out that they were going to be good?
Yeah, no, I had no idea who was going to be in the tournament. Those tournaments are just things that are kind of posted. You get things through the mail. We wanted to take a trip. We had talked to the Baldwin Wallace assistants. They really liked the trip. They thought it was a good experience, and so you just kind of figure out who's going to be in the tournament, and again, that just seems to be the way things are going for us.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck this weekend. Hopefully we can maybe it'll be another close, hopefully not another close loss for us. We'll be back with point guard for the Westminster Titans, Dave Richards.
Why do dogs chase cars? It's the tires. We love them. And Tire Express loves tires as much as I do. Plus, Tire Express is the kind of place you can comfortably send your grandmother. Tire Express is great, with dependable tires at everyday low prices and honest service. And Tire Express is as fast as me, Chico. They get you in and out in a hurry. That's why Matt's been in the tire business for over 25 years. That's 175 in dog years. Tire Express, often copied, never equaled. When it comes to tires, they're the top dog.
So you're a huge Western Pennsylvania football fan? Then ncnewsonline.com is for you. Crunch is an award-winning internet site of the Newcastle News devoted to area high school football, where you'll get a daily fix of schedules, scores, rosters, highlights, opinion, and player profiles, plus video and photo galleries. Online at ncnewsonline.com. It's football coverage as it happens, designed for you, the dedicated fan. Crunch online at ncnewsonline.com.
Welcome back. I'm sitting here now with point guard for the Westminster men's basketball team, Dave Richards. Welcome, and thanks for coming today.
Thank you, Craig, for having me.
Tough loss last night. Like I was talking to Coach about, we've lost a lot of tough games this year. Explain how you're feeling today after a tough loss, especially to a rival like Grove City.
Yeah, it was a tough loss. I just feel like we had plenty of opportunities last night in the fourth quarter and overtime to get the win, but ball bounced their way. They made some big shots, and things just didn't go our way last night.
We got our first win on Saturday against St. Vincent. Obviously, we haven't won one since. What do you think it's going to take against Thomas More to get win number 2 for us?
I think as long as we play as hard as they did against Grove City, cut down some turnovers, just have some smarter plays, I think the wind will start rolling around. I mean, we have a lot of talent. I think we'll start picking up some wins here as long as we keep playing hard.
Grove City beat us in overtime. Allegheny beats us at the buzzer. Do you still feel confident in our goal of winning a PAC championship this year?
Oh, I feel totally confident. I mean, we're not going to lose every game like how we've been losing by 2-3 points. I mean, the ball's going to start going our way, and wins are going to come.
Now, the ball hasn't been bouncing our way. We've been playing hard. We've been trying. Is there anything else you can see out on the court that you think we could do differently, or do you think if we just keep playing like we will, wins will come?
If we just cut down some turnovers, make some smarter plays, better shot selection, I think we'll be all right. I mean, we have some of the best players in the pack, I feel like, and I just feel like our talent's going to override these other talented players in the pack, especially once we're playing hard.
You replaced an all-region point guard in Greg Rossitelli. Did you feel any added pressure because of that coming into the year, or were you confident in yourself that you knew you could go out and play to your best of your abilities?
I mean, I was pretty confident. I mean, I knew it was tough to replace Greg. He's a great point guard. He led us to the NCAA tournament. I knew I wasn't going to be able to do all the things he did. I just wanted to, help the team out, find our scores, no turnovers, just help the team out as much as I could.
1-7. I know it's not a good record, and I know personally that I still feel confident in us, and I still think we can win a lot of games. How about you? Do you still feel confident that there are a lot more wins to come, or is the tides have kind of turned where you feel like, man, we're just not going to be able to squeeze any out this year?
No, I feel pretty confident. I mean, last year we started slow. My freshman year we started slow. We ended up having a good record in the pack, especially since we have automatic bid for the NCAA tournament this year. So as long as we, finish well in the pack, we have a chance to make the NCAA tournament.
What were your goals coming into this season, Dave? It's going to be the first real year that you actually played a lot of minutes, the bulk of the minutes at the point guard. Did you set any goals for yourself, or did you just follow the team goals that were set?
I mean, I followed the team goals, but I mean, I did have some individual goals. Like, I really didn't care about the scoring-wise. I just wanted to get the ball to our scorers because we have 4, 5, 6 guys that can put up 20 points a night. So basically, I just wanted to get our guys the ball and they score for us.
How did you choose Westminster? I know you're a junior now, and it's probably seemed like a long time ago since a lot of coaches were recruiting you. But what made you choose Westminster? I know your father played here and was part of the 1982 team that was very successful. He was a point guard along with you. How did you choose Westminster over all the other schools?
I mean, it's close to my home. I wanted to stay close to home. I had some friends up here playing. I liked the campus. The academics were good. I liked the up-tempo style we were playing. So, I mean, it was just a combination of everything that made me want to come here.
Was it tough to lose Dom Joseph, a guy that you've hung around with since you're both from Newcastle? Was it tough to lose him as far as his leadership and him being with you for the first 3 years of you being here? Or was it just a nice transition because you still knew a lot of the guys on the team?
I mean, it was a little tough, but I mean, I had to get be used to it. So, I mean, I'm pretty much fine now. I mean, it's different not having him around. He's always joking around and everything, but I'm fine now.
Now we're going to go with some rapid-fire questions about some guys on the team. Be specific, be honest, explain what could these guys give to the team. Who's the most arrogant on the team? Do we have a guy that you think's most arrogant?
Most arrogant? I'd have to maybe go Ryan Murray.
Well, here's the other question. Who's the most clueless on the team?
Clueless? Kevin Mayberry.
All right. Now we're headed into Thomas More, a team that started off 2-0 in the pack. Are you nervous about this game at all because you know we have to get back to 1-1, or is it something that you're ready to take on?
I wouldn't say nerves. I think a little more excitement because, I mean, it is the pack. We have to start winning these games. And we've played well down there, so, I mean, I'm really excited to get down there and play.
All right, Dave. Well, thank you for being here, and I appreciate all the time you could give to us today. This week, the Titans come back, and they're going to play Thomas More on the road, and then they have a long layoff for finals week. But stick around next week. Therese Marzalak will be back with you. She'll be back in the seat. I hope I was able to fill her shoes well. Stay tuned next week for Therese Marzalak and Coach's Corner.
and about 21 grams of fat. If you make the homemade instead of the store-bought, you're going to save about 90 calories per serving and about 13 grams of fat.
She dips chicken in an egg and herb mixture and coats them with crushed Melba toast. But will the kids eat them?
They don't even know that it's healthier than the store-bought chicken nuggets.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Judy Fortin.
And one of them is on exercise.
Alligator blood could be the key to fighting off a wide range of deadly diseases, including AIDS. Scientists say proteins in the reptile's blood have powerful antibiotic properties. If researchers can just sequence the genetics of gator blood, the proteins could be used for superdrugs that might stop infections from spreading. What makes gators so special? One scientist says over the centuries, the creatures have developed unique immune systems. A study shows teenagers who have TVs in their bedrooms are less likely to engage in healthy activities. The University of Minnesota study found teens with TVs in their rooms exercise less and eat fewer vegetables. And they get lower grades, particularly the boys. The study's authors said almost 2/3 of teens polled had TVs in their bedrooms. All right, we're still seeing climbers up the Golden Gate Bridge, and they're trying to take those protesters down. There are 3 people who have scaled the cables of that bridge to unfurl banners protesting China's human rights record dangling from the suspension cables. That is a Tibetan flag. The banners read, "One world, one dream, free Tibet." California Highway Patrol tells CNN it has closed one northbound lane of the Golden Gate Bridge. They have taken 4 people into custody. These are in addition to the 3 who are hanging from those cables. They say they represent students for a free Tibet. The Olympic torch is set to arrive in the city by the bay on Wednesday for its only North American stop. It's one of the perks of a national championship, a presidential salute. About an hour ago, President Bush congratulated LSU's football team on the south lawn of the White House. Coach Les Miles and the team got an invitation from the president after Louisiana State beat Ohio State in the BCS National Championship game back in January. Well, there were 65 teams in the NCAA tournament 3 weeks ago. Today, there are 2. The Kansas Jayhawks and the Memphis Tigers will tangle for the men's national championship tonight. Tip-off is set for 9:21 Eastern. And for all things college hoops, we turn again to Larry Smith, who joins us live in San Antonio. Larry.
Well, hi there, Chuck. Yep, we're getting closer to it now. About 6 hours away from tip-off, and everyone's getting excited about it. Memphis and Kansas, 2 powerful #1 seeds, and if it's anything like what we saw Saturday night, this should be a great matchup of speed and athleticism. You know, it's rare to see a college basketball national champion come from a major metropolitan area. In fact, to go back to 1995 and that UCLA team, they would be the most recent. But that is what makes tonight's game versus Kansas so special for Memphis and the city back home. The Tigers have already won an NCAA record 38 games this season and now can capture their first national championship. Memphis is a city known for its musical history, civil rights connection, and mouth-watering barbecue. And to be the king of hoops would bring the city a great sense of pride.
Of all the teams in this tournament, this is huge for the city of Memphis. The city of Memphis is in the Bible Belt, a godly place and a charitable place. But we've got a lot of poverty. We have a lot of things going on where this right here, what's happening, can show a lot of young kids there is hope. There is an opportunity. There is chance.
Memphis is not known for anything, other than, being on 48 hours or something bad happening there. So, I mean, it wants something positive, to finally come to the city. And I think this would be a great thing if we can come out and win.
Well, not only is Memphis trying to break through and join that list of NCAA champions, but they also are trying to shatter the status quo and become the first school from a non-BCS conference, that's the schools, all the big boys, to win an NCAA basketball title since UNLV did it back in 1990. Memphis with 38 wins, Kansas 36. They'll tip it up here in about 6 hours to find out who is #1 in 2008. Let's go back to you.
It's going to be a great game. Look forward to it. Larry, thanks. Appreciate the update.
Yeah, okay.
All right, a rowdy party ends with dozens in jail.
Yeah!
Why police use tear gas to break up this crowd? You got to hear about this party gone wild.
Coverage of the Final Four brought to you by Multigrain Cheerio Cereal, because it tastes good, and by Viagra.
What are you eating?
Multigrain Cheerios.
So, trying to watch your weight?
No. Why?
Nothing. It's just the box. It says it's low in fat.
Do I look like I need to watch my weight?
No. It just says it has 110 calories per serving.
Yeah, but there are other reasons why I like it.
I know. It's the box. It just says it's made with 5 whole grains. And that's good, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. What else does the box say?
Buck says shut up, Steve.
Multigrain Cheerios cereal, because it tastes good.
Not long ago, this man had limited mobility. Last month, this woman wasn't even able to get around inside of her own home. They chose mobility, and they chose the Scooter Store. If you or a loved one live with limited mobility, call the Scooter Store. No other company will work harder to make you mobile or do more to guarantee your complete satisfaction.
If we pre-qualify you for a new power chair or scooter and your claim isn't approved, the Scooter Store will give you your power chair or scooter free. That's our guarantee.
They were so helpful and nice. They filed all the paperwork, and Medicare and my insurance covered the cost.
We can work directly with Medicare or with your insurance company. We can even help with financing. If there's a way, we'll find it.
So don't wait any longer. Call the Scooter Store today.
Call 1-800-478-8726 for your free, no-obligation information from the Scooter Store. That's 1-800-478-8726.
This is truly a high-wire act. There are workers on an elevated lift that has apparently just reached the protesters who've been dangling from the cables on the Golden Gate Bridge about 100 feet over the roadway. It appears they're trying to talk 3 demonstrators down. They are protesting China's human rights record. They're dangling from the suspension cables. The banners read, "One World, One Dream, Free Tibet," and "Free Tibet," and that's a Tibetan flag there you see in the upper left. California Highway Patrol says it has closed one northbound lane, and they've already taken 4 people into custody, presumably on the roadway itself, support groups, if you will, in addition to the 3 who are actually hanging from the cables. They all represent what they call Students for a Free Tibet. The Olympic torch is set to arrive there on Wednesday. Its only North American stop. The U.S. Navy aircraft carrier George Washington is en route to Japan. It will be the first nuclear-powered carrier to be stationed there. In the past, Japan had refused to allow nuclear-powered ships to be based there because of political and social sensitivity to the issue. The Washington will replace the 40-year-old carrier Kitty Hawk as the only forward-deployed U.S. aircraft carrier. This morning in Kansas City, Senator John McCain warned his Democratic rivals that a withdrawal from Iraq would be a failure of leadership. And talk of withdrawal is a promise they can't keep, he said. The campaign stop came as the Arizona Republican drew up a list of potential running mates. He hasn't released any names, but one of the people being speculated on is Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, rumored to be actively campaigning for the job. That's a rumor, though, the Arizona Republican said he's not heard.
I did not hear that. I miss those signals. I think she's a great American. I think there's very little that I can say that isn't anything but the utmost praise for a great American citizen who served as a role model to so many millions of people in this country and around the world. But as I mentioned to you, we're not talking about the process.
So far, Secretary Rice has not commented on the rumors. Well, there's been a big shakeup in Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign as Mark Penn, her chief political strategist, is gone. The move comes after Penn, in his role as head of a PR firm, met with representatives of the Colombian government to help promote a free trade agreement, a pact Senator Clinton opposes. The change occurs only 3 weeks before the Pennsylvania primary. Police used tear gas to break up a massive crowd in East Lansing. They were partying right by Michigan State University. They arrested 50 of the estimated 4,000 people attending Cedar Fest. There were 4 small fires reported. Several officers and partygoers were slightly injured.
After that, a couple tear can canisters went out. After that, you see these dumpsters catch on fire. You see bricks thrown, bottles thrown. A couple people get hit in the head.
Police say most of them were not Michigan State students. The troublemakers do not go to school at Michigan State. Stock market has had more ups and downs than a roller coaster lately, and that may scare a lot of people away. But some say this may be the time to invest. Our personal finance editor, Jerry Willis, joins us now with some advice. Hey, Jerry.
Hi there, Chuck. Well, it may be difficult to look at your investment statement these days, but remember, the stock market is considered what they call a forward-looking index. That means stocks often decline in anticipation of a recession and then start to turn around during a recession. The broad-based S&P 500 is down almost 7% this year. Now, that may mean there are some well-priced stocks out there It's an opportunity if you have a long-term time horizon of 4 to 5 years. Look, even if you are close to retirement, you should have some stocks in your portfolio. If you don't, you'll run the risk of outliving your money. So if you're ready to put your money to work, consider an index fund. It claims to replicate the movements of the S&P, such as the S&P 500. And since there are no high-priced managers trying to pick the stocks or time the market, the fees are low. And even active fund managers have a hard time beating the long-term returns of index funds. Now, Morningstar.com recommends Fidelity's Spartan Total Market Index, as well as 2 index funds from Vanguard. If you want to be more aggressive, there are international mutual funds. But you want to figure out what your asset allocation should be. Your asset allocation is just how much your portfolio is dedicated to stocks, how much to bonds, how much to cash. Whatever you do, don't try to build your portfolio based on what the market is doing right now. Timing the market is something that even the pros don't usually get right. For people who are more conservative, there are certificates of deposit. Now, while interest rates have come down lately, some banks may be offering teaser rates on some short-term products. If you can't get a good rate, don't lock in your money for more than a year. That's because the Fed's concerns about inflation may prompt policymakers to raise rates later in the year, and that would help your returns. Check out bankrate.com to compare CD interest rates. If you have a specific question you'd like to have answered, email it to me at toptips@cnn.com. We love to hear from you, and we answer those questions right here every Friday.
And sometimes those high-priced managers picking stocks don't have a real good track record either, do they?
That's right.
All right, Jerry, thanks. Good to see you.
My pleasure, Chuck.
This should sound familiar. Expect to pay more to fill up your car. Gas prices are heading north again. The last 2 weeks, the national average climbed 5 cents a gallon. That puts the average price